Hey everyone, Jason DeZurek here with Falling Apples and my son
Ezra DeZurek.
Yeah, I'm his father, and we just are glad you're watching this. You can write us at fallingapplespodcast@gmail.com, fallingapplespodcast@gmail.com. And today we want to take some time. We're going to dig into, do accolades mean you'll be a good teacher, boss, or leader? And before we jump into that, Proverbs 16:3, we've shared this in the past, but commit to the Lord whatever you do, and he will establish your plans. And so before we get into it, that's kind of where we're going to head. But I've been blessed to disciple a bunch of guys. Almost 6 months now, right? It's been a while.
Yeah.
And we've gone through a couple books. Actually, it's more than 9 months.
Yeah, I was going to say it's
been a
longer.
While, closer to a year, I think. Anyway, we read a couple books by Erwin McManus, and Ezra had Erwin McManus on the brain just a bit. He wrote a book called Mind Shift. What stuck out to you in that? Do you remember?
Yeah, if you don't know who Erwin McManus is, he's definitely I'd call him a mental architect. He's just super, super smart. He's very knowledgeable, but he keeps people in relationships at the forefront. So if you don't know anything about him, you haven't read up on him, go do some research on him. He's super awesome. But what stuck out to me in Mind Shift is there's a passage in the book, or a place in the book, where he literally says there are no experts. And there's a little snippet we have. It's kind of a breakdown of what it says in the book. But in Mind Shift, Erwin McManus argues that a core mindset shift is to realize that no one, not even successful people, truly knows what they are doing. He suggests that many people wait to have all the answers before starting. But true success comes from learning and adapting as you go, rather than waiting for a perfect plan. When I first read that, I was very hesitant, I'd say, to believe it, just because I think we're kind of all taught, you need to prepare, you need to plan. And I'm not saying preparing and planning is bad, but we need to have all of the answers before we get going, so then we know success is guaranteed, I'd even say. And I think the passage that we have here, could you pull it back up? What was it? Proverbs
16?
Proverbs 16:3. Commit to the Lord whatever you do, and he will establish your plans. So, right there, it's committing to the Lord whatever you do. So go and do, and then your plans will be established. And how I think that fits with do accolades make good bosses, coaches, leaders, whatever. I think accolades are what make experts. I think that's where we end up getting that term is, he has that license. He has the trophy. He has the medal. He has received this award from a conference or whatever it may be. And that's where we get these experts. And a lot of times these experts are not even field tested. They just have knowledge. They just have the answers before they even get started, before they've even done anything. Yeah.
No, I totally concur with that. And the struggle is so many people focus in on, again, I'm not against authority, but so many people think that the title grants you the authority you should have, but you haven't earned it.
Yeah.
And again, not against titles per se, but at the same time, we talk about sports quite a bit. On a team, somebody can be the captain, but that doesn't mean they're the leader.
Mm.
Some of you right now, your head just exploded. But it's true. Just because someone is a captain doesn't mean they have the leadership ability they need to lead.
Yeah.
Nor do they have everyone like being willing to follow them.
Yep.
Just because I'm the captain.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen it so much. I know this is true. It's not a matter of I think it's true. I know this is true.
Yeah.
And we see this in jobs too. I mean, dare I say, and you don't have to go into all the details, but this happened to you probably less than a year ago.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, because somebody had certain accolades or certain awards or had certain titles. It's crazy that a title can be an accolade now. It's just insane to me. But and I'm not saying I would have been the manager. I did not want the manager position. But there was somebody that was chosen because of certain accolades and titles, and it had nothing to do with leadership ability, like you had said. It was all just because of certain titles and certain accolades. And I hope you all are not hearing like, yes, having certain titles or certain jobs, certain responsibilities, it can make you field tested and be ready for certain situations, but that does not mean you're going to have the leadership abilities. Yeah. So with that, the whole title, do accolades, does that prepare you or does that make you a good boss, leader, coach, manager, whatever it may be? I think my opinion on that is pretty clear.
Right. Well, and I wasn't planning on going it this way. I don't even know if this is going to fit with the title per se, but friends, Romans 13 says, let everyone be subject to the governing authorities. For there is no authority except that which God has established. The authorities that exist have been established by God. Consequently, whoever rebels against the earthly authority is rebelling against what God has instituted, and those who do so will bring judgment on themselves. Now, let's just move that into the world, okay? In the world, well, they're the manager. They're the one the pastor. They're whatever it is, okay? They've got that authority, that position. They've got the accolade. They've got the piece of paper. And if people, especially pastor, let's say the people of the church said, all right, we're picking this person as the leader. Now, as let's say somebody who comes under that authority, a youth pastor, someone who works in the office, whatever it is, okay, you've got a choice to make now. Mm-hmm. Because that person has been put there in authority. Mm. Whether they earned it or not. The manager, you talked about a manager, okay? Mm-hmm. Manager has a certain accolades, piece of paper. They got a position whether they earned it or not. And now this is the way I read this text. So that person was put into authority, and it tells us that whoever's been placed in authority, God has put them there. That's what this is telling us. God has instituted that. Mm-hmm. So if that's true, and I believe it is, if that's true, then those who are working there at that job, at that church, let's say you have a coach on a team that you just can't stand, and you're like, this is stupid. Well, whoever's picked them, whoever's in authority, put them there. And you're choosing now to be under that authority. You made that choice, like it or not. And so if you choose now, we've talked about this in past podcasts, in episodes. If now you're choosing to rebel and say, I'm questioning, I don't like that where we're going. According to this, you're in sin. Mm. You're wrong. So here's what's beautiful about living in the United States of America. You do not have to stay there. You are not a slave.
Yeah.
They are not your slave master. You now have a choice to make, which is, am I going to submit? If I stay, according to this, if I stay, now I'm saying, okay, Lord, I'll submit to their authority. But because we live in the United States of America, Ezra, we have a choice now. You know what? No, I'm not going to submit You're not undermining them because they're choosing, hey, we're going there, and you're going, I'm getting off this bus. No. That God is not calling me to do that. This is why the body of Christ is so awesome. Because if you are a finger, you're the pointer finger. This is your job. Your job is to point. Your job is to hit buttons, do whatever, okay? And they're saying, no, we want to walk on you. I'm not only not wanting to do that, I'm not gifted or talented to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, are you a team player or not? Yeah, but if I let you walk on me, I'm going to break. So I would say, whoever the person under that authority is now, you have a choice to make. If you stay and they want to walk on you, you're choosing that and saying, okay, I'll submit. For your own health, though, it might be wise to get out of that situation. Or am I just making things up in my head, Ezra?
No, and I think to dig in further, it's frustrating because most of the time, the leadership roles are the ones that come with more kickback. Whether it's pay, whether it's, I'm going to say, higher status relationships, could be bonuses. So everyone is constantly trying to get into that leadership position, even if they are not, it's not one of their giftings. And it's difficult because it's usually always those leadership roles come with better benefits. I mean, that's what the term everybody's going to understand and know. They come with better benefits. So everybody always is trying to get into those leadership positions, even when leadership ability may not be in someone's wheelhouse.
Yes. Here's why I struggle with that.
Mm-hmm.
Is I do believe this, that God calls all of us to lead in our way. What I mean by that is we are called to lead and to do the best we can. Again, commit your ways to the Lord, and then your thoughts will follow. Okay? So we commit to striving to do the best we can, and I'm going to lead by example. That doesn't mean I'm leading by bossing you around. Okay?
I agree with that.
But we need to have our actions be the leader. And we lead by doing what we're called to do. Now, I want to mention this too. Galatians 1:10 is so great. Galatians 1:10. Am I now trying to win the approval of human beings or of God? Or am I trying to please people? If I were still trying to please people, I would not be a servant of Christ.
Yeah.
So, am I going to please God or am I going to please man? You have a choice to make. That does not mean that we just let people walk all over us. It doesn't mean that we don't ever stand up for ourselves. It doesn't mean we always stand up for ourselves either. There might be times where it's like, all right, I need to submit right now. This isn't in my wheelhouse. And in my job description, this definitely falls under anything the boss asks me to do, I got to do it. I hate that line, by the way.
Yeah.
But there are times, okay, it's like, okay, I know this isn't my job, but if I don't do this, no one else is going to do it.
Yeah.
But it needs to get done. Okay, you know what? I'll submit. Okay, I'll get this done. Does that make sense?
It does.
Or is that offensive?
No, I don't think it's offensive. Just back to the Galatians text, I think that is a lot of what this conversation comes down to is, I mean, we get accolades not for God. It is definitely for human approval. So yeah, I think and I mean, this is calling me out too. So I don't think I'm like trying to point fingers because I'm feeling this too. But yeah,
Good.
am I now trying to win the approval of human beings or of God? I think accolades, any type of accolade, is going to be trying to get human approval. So I think the answer there is, am I trying to please people? Yes. If I were trying to please people, I would not be a servant of Christ. That hurts.
With that, and I do want to bring this up because, again, this is just a phrase I say all the time. If we get the love part wrong, what's the point?
Yeah.
But really, that's what it kind of comes down to.
It does.
Are we willing to live out love? For instance, okay, love is long-suffering. Love is patient. Love is kind. It does not envy. It does not boast. It is not proud. It is not rude. It does not dishonor others. It's not self-seeking. Love is not self-seeking. What are human accolades, my friends? Self-seeking.
Yeah.
It's not easily angered.
Mm-hmm.
Keeps no record of wrongs. So love forgives. Okay. So I want to pause here real quick because this is something that many struggle with. Forgiveness doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to let you go back to the area we were at in our friendship and the same level we were at as friends. I'm still your friend, but that doesn't mean I'm going to allow you to go deep into my life here anymore. We're going to be friends though. We'll be cordial. But that doesn't mean I got to tell you every little secret I have because you betrayed my trust.
Yeah.
Now, some people say, well, then you're keeping record of wrongs. No, I'm not upset with them about that anymore. I've moved on, but now they have to learn, or I have to learn to trust them over again.
Mm-hmm.
That's being wise and shrewd. It's being grace-filled because I'm giving them a chance again.
Yeah.
I could just say, you are out of here. Done. Forget it. Never again. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth.
Mm-hmm.
Some accolades, let's just be honest, some accolades delight in evil. Some do. But we need to rejoice with the truth. And love always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. So I want to just pause here because we got to wrap this up. But friends, love perseveres. So persevere through the difficulty. I'm not saying don't ever leave a position where you were in total disagreement with the leader. I didn't say that. But persevere with it. Love them. Honor them. Don't say ill will about them. Well, that's not what I think we should do. Okay. Well, you might not think that's what we should do. But they're the authority figure. And so honoring them might be keeping your mouth shut.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Again, are we necessarily saying accolades are bad?
No.
No. Are titles bad? No. But again, who's really the leader? Whoever the people kind of trust. Whoever has gained their trust.
Yeah.
It's not, well, I have this title, so you do what I say. What? Does that make sense?
It does. I agree.
We got to wrap up. You take us on here.
No, thank you all for tuning in. This is, again, Falling Apples. You can find us hopefully on multiple platforms at this point. YouTube, Spotify, going to be trying to get on a couple other podcast platforms. But if you have any questions or you want to have us touch on a topic, don't be afraid to reach out to us at Falling Apples it's Falling Apples Podcast at gmail.com. Again, any topic ideas, any questions, anything like that, we'll get back to you. Yeah,
and as we keep going, hopefully you start seeing things change and things, but we're just starting out.
Get some studio upgrades.
Yeah, we'll see. Thanks for watching, everyone.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Bye-bye.
Peace.